So I have a way of representing Toad in the game. This is Toad. Toad's a dwarf, so he has 11 hit points. But as I start to add more and more, like I fleshed out all the ancestries, and I'm adding in the backgrounds, which are going to change Toad's stats, so his hit points, once the background's selected, his hit points might change and things like that. And I needed a way to represent that in the editor here while I'm testing. So I went ahead and created, I'm not even sure if this is like correct, but I created a character creator here. So let me go ahead and remove Toad quick. And then let's just see if we can recreate Toad. So right now I hit play, there's no Toad, so this little brown box is where the party portraits would go, and it's empty. So let me go ahead, so what I say? I said Toad was a dwarf. So we'll make Toad, we'll hit enter to save it. And then here you can go through the ancestries. There's 8 to begin with. Toad was a dwarf. So we're going to click that and set dwarf, and then we'll hit OK. That will spawn a debug character. Right now it's just a square named Toad with 11 hit points at 11 hit points. That could have been a fluke. Okay, Toad is the default debug character. Everything you see right there has nothing to do, could have nothing to do with the character creator. So let us instead stop the game, which will throw an error. And then we're going to restart it. So let's make, instead of Toad, let's make a goblin. Goblins have 6 starting hit points. And let's name this goblin Stephanos, right? So we're going to click goblin, we're going to hit enter on Stephanos, and we're going to hit OK. So now Stephanos has been spawned with 6 hit points. So I went from not knowing anything about this to watching 4 minutes of a UMG tutorial before realizing it wasn't what I wanted it to do, to making this code. And the code itself is super simple. I just made a widget, right? I just designed a widget, ugly as sin, made a couple buttons, made the buttons cycle through a widget switcher. The widgets that it's switching through are literally just buttons that have the different ancestries on them. It's just buttons, so this will cycle through. I put in a text box, and then in the actual code, so like this is the code for the buttons, I need to actually put in a looping for the previous button. You can get to 0 and it'll freeze, but so once you enter the text in the text thing and you commit it, it saves it to a variable. Once you click on whatever ancestry button you're hovered on, it sets that ancestry. Very ugly, very just snap together code. And then once you hit the OK button, it will take that saved text, that saved ancestry, put them into a structure, and then spawn a character. Tell the game master to spawn a character with the information provided. So like the character it's spawning as a debug character, and a debug character will have certain information on it by default. So, and then it just closes its own little character sheet thing here. So in theory, did it close the character sheet though? I don't even know if it did. In theory, let me remake Stephanos. Okay, for some reason it doesn't close the character sheet, which is fine with me, because then we're going to go ahead, let's bring Toad back, Toad the dwarf, hang on. So if I type in Toad, I hit enter, and then I click dwarf, and I hit OK. Oh, well, it's a little buggy because we didn't get Stephanos' name at all, but now we do have Toad here too. We have 2 Stephanoses and a Toad. The point, oops, sorry, didn't mean to punch you there. The point is, I was able to just kind of build a testing thing. Once in theory, so like the game is running in the background, I can just, move the camera around and zoom in and such. So in theory, once this is done, and this closes, I should be able to pull up the character sheet for the selected actor and double check that their ancestry's in there. I have the backgrounds. Hang on. Yeah, I know you're broken. I have the backgrounds that I spent all day working on, and then I broke a data table with all the backgrounds on it. I did this mostly because I needed to check to see how I can, each background has 2 attributes that you can choose one of them to boost. So I need to find a way to be able to visualize that so that I can see if you pick your ancestry, then you pick your background, and once you've picked your background, you get the two options. You get to pick one or the other option to boost. And I need to see if that code maths out right, so that at the end of the character creation, when you hit OK and you spawn the dude, if you did boost Constitution, did it add a hit point? Things like that. I just need to be able to see that in a better way. And so I said, well, I need this thing. And of course, the internet didn't help me figure out how to see the thing at all. So I just made it myself. I'm not sure why the names aren't generating in these instances. Maybe it has something to do with the enter. Anyway, the code needs to be refactored, of course, but it works. It does create a character. It does create a character with the data on it. So as I continue to plug more data in, hopefully I should be able to see that result in the future. I've been rambling way too long about this. I'm going to go. Peace. Love you. Bye.